interesting. We've got the word pursuit used here, right? Which, you know, it sounds like because we're in Celestia now. Pursuit is a word that Nishiki used often for character song themes, right? In pursuit of revenge, in pursuit of etc. And we've got Throne too. What's that horrid smell? My apologies. I was just cleaning the underground waterway. The black snakes do seem to take great joy in working you to the bone. Celes has jokes. She said that like quick too. She didn't even think about it. She went straight for it. But you weren't so different not so long ago, were you, General Celes? And now you've run off to the returners. What made you change your mind? I could no longer bear to see the Empire trample the weak for its destructive ends. These two actually have a decent amount in common, don't they? So you rebelled. Yes, I would have been executed for treason. Huh. Another thing they have in common. But Locke and the other returners took me in. Without them, you would be talking to a headstone. Not all of the Imperials are as foul as the worst. Dr. Sid was like a grandfather to me. I think if I remember right, I think I worked on this, and they wanted to call Sid her dad. NetEase did, and obviously for anybody who's played Final Fantasy VI, literally knows she literally calls him my new granddad or something. Like, she calls him her granddad, not dad. So I wonder how he fares today. He may be worrying over me as we speak. Oh snap! If we take the assumption that COTC is still canon, right? And the only thing that we have been led to believe by the devs so far relating to COTC is that the only thing that makes it non-canon, at least so far as in relation to Octopath 0, which I think we can then bring that logic back over to here too, is they specifically said before Octopath 0 released that the only way that Octopath 0 is not considered canon is if you recruit and use I mean you can recruitment, yeah, that's also not canon. If you recruit and or use the Octopath 1 characters, right? Because none of them had gone on any journey before the journey they went on together during one's events, you know, which happened not long after Zero's events chronologically. But if we take that over to here, although this is like, I mean, this is having to do with like alternate realities and stuff, but like, I mean, we've got the Gate of Finis, so I don't think it's that much of a stretch to even think that that there might not be any reason to assume or conclude that this is not canon. But if we go that far, and that doesn't feel like it's very far, but if we go that far, then it almost sounds like like Square Enix, because this collab originated from Square Enix, not from NetEase, right? NetEase is just pumping out collaborations that Square Enix has developed and created and stuff. Then we can say that Square Enix is, if it wasn't already known, now we know that Sid surviving the start of the World of Ruin could actually be considered canon. Maybe. like that might be a thing, right? This dialogue right here, I mean, it obviously implies that Sid is still alive, right? And so if this story is actually canon, and again, I mean, I don't think there's anything to disprove that possibility. Like, I don't think there's any way to prove that it's true, but I also don't know if there's any way to prove that it's not true, which means it's a possibility. And so this could actually just be making Sid surviving the start of World of Ruin canon. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of... I always save him. I don't know if I've ever actually not saved him. Maybe once just to see the dialogue, but I think for the most part I always save him. So, and it was really cool, right? Because last year when I streamed some of it, and I am gonna finish up that playthrough eventually and add like off-stream recordings of it to a Let's Play on YouTube, where we get the platinum trophy on PlayStation. But I'm pretty sure when we streamed it last year in 2025, I think I actually probably set my own personal record for how fast I saved him, because in the Pixel remasters you've got a speed boost in the settings if you want it, right? And then you add sprint shoes on top of it, and you're just zooming back and forth between the beach and the house. And so, like, there is literally, because the point system, right, it ticks down every second. And so, like, us moving faster now in the Pixel remaster makes it so there's just less time for him to lose health, right? And so you can just save him faster than you ever could before, I think. Charming. Don't take that for granted. Friends are few and far between, especially for the likes of us. Of me. You mean to topple the Empire, don't you? Indeed. That is the path I have chosen. That is how I will win my free... Oh, I mean that language. That's like... more theme sharing between these two. Freedom. Sounds nice. Yeah, and see, this also, her saying stuff like this, and the fact that, like, Piro is still alive, we can kind of know, like, when this collaboration, when Side Celestia is taking place relative to Octopath 2's events, right? Because for anybody who has played Octopath 2, well, it's been a few years, so I'm not I'm not gonna hold back spoilers here, but in Thrones Chapter 1, Piro dies, and we've seen Piro in Side Celestia, and we've seen Piro in maybe in the collaboration. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's just there and alive in New Delsta in COTC here. And like I said, he dies in Thrones Chapter 1 in Octopath 2, right? So we know everything that's taking place in Celestia and COTC here is taking place like before her Chapter 1. But then the other interesting thing is, and there's probably more than one example, but the example that comes to mind the most is that Oswald is already on the mainland here when we meet him in COTC, right? Which means the events here in Celestia and COTC also are taking place after his chapters 1 and 2 in Octopath 2. So the stories, so we can kind of, like, with that information, we can kind of tell that all of the character intros in Octopath 2, so like for 7 of the 8 characters, they're Chapter 1, and then for Oswald is Chapter 1 and 2. We can tell that they're not all technically supposed, like, chronologically, they did not all happen, like, simultaneously, right? Like, they happened, like, at different points in time, or at least we know Thrones and Oswald's did. which is also kind of interesting. I'm making this Celes story here take way longer with my sidetracking, but to be fair, to be fair to myself, the sidetracking is like all relevant to what the ladies are saying to each other here. So, Grone, you may see naught before you now, yet new roads oft reveal themselves when we least expect them to. When your time comes, do not let it pass you by, for it is precisely then that you will know what must be done. Thanks. Oh, that's so cool, these two. They have so much in common. That was a really well done memoir, traveler story, whatever.